Jonny Edwards.
Yes.
Good to see you, man. This has been in the making for how long?
Years? Decades? Centuries?
Definitely a century.
Epoch. It's been an epoch of time, I say.
How's been ShutterFest for you?
It's been really good. You know, it's my first time here, so it's sort of getting a lay of the land. Like St. Louis is cool. I love the location. I have been much more isolated than I usually am at shows. I think my social battery is just running low. I was in Mexico and did all of that, and then the other conferences, WPPI, and everything was back to back to back.
Yeah, you.
So I got here and I just wanted to spend the whole time around people. And even though the people here are incredible, I didn't have it in me to have that fervor. So my energy is kind of strained. Right?
You've been running and gunning for.
I need to rest. Literally, I need to just lay in bed and order pizza and pay someone to feed it to me and not get up for say 72 hours. Yeah, just crucifixed out on the bed, eating pizza. Sorry, Catholics.
Tell me, I have a crucifix somewhere. I do. That's actually true. I brought it as a prop.
Yeah.
Tell me, how's Mexico?
Mexico was incredible. It was incredible. And I was actually pretty energetically down when I went to Mexico, but the people were amazing. I was in Mexico City, I was in Guadalajara, I'm in Monterrey, and everyone was so friendly and so welcoming. I was going through some stuff while I was there, and everyone just sort of took it in stride and supported me and put their arms around me. It was like family. It was literally like family. Every single place I was at. Of course, the food was amazing, but the community and the people, it really restored, to be honest, it restored my faith in humanity. And I was bummed. Once I got back to DIA, I took a late flight in from Monterrey, and I got off the plane and I was like, all right, this is crazy. I speak a little bit of Spanish, just enough. But as soon as I got off the plane, someone was like, oh my God, I can't believe Starbucks isn't open right now. And I was like, take me back. I do not want to be here with this vapid bullshit. So it was lovely. And I'm going back in August, actually.
There's some interesting problems that people make up at times.
I think it's performative outrage. I think there's a lot of that now where people just want to be seen and heard. And I don't even necessarily think it's intentional or malicious, but people want to complain because people respond to complaining. People respond to pain. People respond to struggle. People respond to hurt. It's like why the news is the way the news is. So someone wants to yell and be heard, and we've sort of been programmed to yell about inconsequential bullshit because then people hear that, and then it's psychological. It's wild. I don't even know.
I remember I'm
jaded.
I went to a cruise, and my family went to Dominican Republic.
Yeah.
And some people were asking questions about the U.S., and a lot of the things that people care about here, down there, they're like, we don't care about
whatever.
that.
Yeah, exactly.
We just care about feeding our family. We care about just enjoying. And some of the most richest, wealthiest people I've ever met were the ones that lived in one of the most poverty-stricken places.
Yep.
Because they lived a very happy life.
Yep.
They were very happy with their life, their family, and etc. And I feel it grounds you.
Yeah.
It grounds you
Great.
because
Absolutely.
a lot of people here have to have something to be happy. And over there,
it's life. Yeah. I mean, when I was up in Monterey, I had a group of women come in and they had to leave the workshop early so that they didn't have to drive on the roads that are cartel laden, so that they didn't potentially get killed going home from my workshop. So what a perspective shift versus someone being like, oh, my Delta miles aren't going to cover my flight that weekend. Could you do your workshop another weekend? And I'm not calling anyone, but it's a wild differential.
Right.
So I think to be there, it was really beautiful. And people, it's like I'm half Sicilian, I'm half Russian, I'm second generation. And so it reminds me of the family that I don't have anymore, with my Sicilian family, where it was just fun. Everyone was there and there was no ego in any of the workshops, and people were just happy and celebrating and presence. I think that was the biggest thing for me. There was just so much presence with whatever we were doing. When I was teaching, when we were creating, when we were eating, when we were drinking, we were all there together as human beings. And there was this beautiful, beautiful presence that I didn't even realize I needed, but it gave me so much.
How do you think the culture in Mexico influences the art of the photographers there?
I think personally, I think that people operate from a place of heart and gratitude more. I think the way that they're photographed, even watching, people photograph each other, there's more camaraderie. I feel like people are less, in my experience, and obviously this is biased from the 60 or so people I worked with, but it seemed less technical and more humanistic, which I love because that's what I do. But I feel like people were much more focused on connecting with the person in front of them. And I'm sure, and of course, this is being a tourist and a gringo, and an outsider, and just literally looking through a glass pane and making assumptions. But obviously there's a lot there, but I feel like there's so much, of course, socially and politically that's going on. And then that comes out in a way where I think people are more expressive, number one. and certainly more aware of even that memento mori concept, like we're away from that here in this country where it's just like death is real. We're not going to be here forever. We're all shadows and dust. And I think keeping that in mind, people just, it's a perspective thing. So, I mean, I think it has a massive, massive influence. I can't speak to exactly what that looks like, but what I experienced myself was just a lot of love and a lot of heart and a lot of connection.
What's been another place you visited that's given you that sense of feeling?
Nowhere. No, no, I'm teasing. When I was younger, like I spent a bunch of time out in Europe. So like I feel like in Europe, I was in Italy for a little bit and I was in, Florence and Milan and all these places. But it was that not like in the main cities and the touristy areas, but getting away from that. So I don't really experience that much here in the States. Now, maybe that's my bias. Maybe I'm not finding the right people. Maybe I'm avoiding them. It's not like I'm really in small town America. I'm generally in big cities. So it's Denver and then it's New York and then it's Boston and then it's LA. So maybe I need to do like the Route 66 thing and, do some salted earth vibes, go to some diners and some truck stops and see what happens. And, freak out about my tattoos.
Bring the
Sir, do you mean to be here? I'm like, I think so. I'm not sure. Should I not be here?
You get people, get your posse pops out of nowhere. He's with us.
Bruh. What's up, bruh? He's good, bruh.
Jonny, I ask this to people, but I think everything you do might be considered this. Is there a particular personal project that you've done lately or you're working on?
It's an ongoing thing that I have not dedicated enough time to, if I'm being honest, but I'm really focused on photographing fellow artists right now. So photographers primarily, I mean, I think that's a really big thing, but artists of any medium in their creative space. So I think, if you have someone who works with something on a tangible or not tactical, tangible, we're going to say tangible, T word, tangible basis. So designers and painters and sculptors, like I really love being inside of someone's creative space, photographers in their own studios, seeing where someone devotes their life, where they're literally giving away like these moments that we have and they're giving it to passion and they're giving it to love and they're giving it to hope and they're giving it to all of these things. So that's a personal project I have going on. Quite a few years back, I had something going on called Forgotten Faces. So I was photographing folks in the, community who are dealing with addiction and who are unhoused. And I'm getting back to that as well. So I kind of cut my teeth in photography with street work and I've gotten away from that. And I felt myself drifting a little bit from my like passion and purpose behind the camera. So I'm trying to do things where I pick up my camera and I'm like, all right, I have a voice and I'm using my voice to give voices to others. So I've been so focused on education and travel and all of those things. I feel like I've lost my compass a little bit. I've like spiraled out from my center and that's okay. It happens, but I'm trying to get back to that.
I feel like, I forget who told me, it's like a rubber band. The more you pull away from your core,
Yeah.
two things happen. Either you snap back
Yeah.
or it snaps.
Or it snaps. Yeah.
I think the more and more you pull away, you have to come back. You have to feed whatever that artistic shadow.
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely give it some food.
Well, and it's one of those things where it's like I want to practice what I preach too, right? Like I don't want to be the photographer, and I mean, someone's probably going to throw shade at this, but like I don't want to be the photographer who's like make art, but I don't make art, make money, but I don't make money, whatever that is. So it's like I want to stay rooted so that I can operate with integrity. So hopefully when I'm working with other photographers and mentoring them or educating them, that's coming from a place of authenticity. It's not something where I'm like, oh, I used to do that. Back in the day, I did personal work. Back in the day, I did personal projects, but I'm like here and now I'm doing that and you should too for X, Y, and Z. So I want to live the things that I talk about, that I teach.
Do you work with any other medium or just photography?
It's mainly photography. Way back in the day, like I played drums very poorly for a while. I was in punk and metal bands and screamed very poorly for a while. So family is very musical in that way, but that's it. I think I'm to this stage. I'm just like in my old man stage. So there's a lot of things I want to do. I love sculpture. I'm transfixed by sculpture, especially marble, and same thing with painting, but like I'll pick something up and if I'm not good at it right away, maybe it's like an ego flex, but I'm like, I don't want to do it. I'm just like, I suck. I'm not going to do this anymore, So
I expect perfection from the get-go.
Point being, exactly. So it's like right now, if I wanted to pick up interpretive dance, I would do it and like, dislocate my knee and they'd be like, I'm never doing that again because I suck at it. So I want to do something in it to feel good and right. I would say cuisine. So I think outside of photography, I grew up in the kitchen with my grandmother, Rosemary, who was a insane woman. And not everyone out there, if you're like, you can't just say insane. She was categorically insane, but I love food. I love cooking. I love gardening. I love bringing food in. I love serving people. I love sharing love through food. So if I wasn't a photographer, I'd honestly probably be, in a kitchen somewhere doing the Anthony Bourdain thing and just being a maniac making food.
What do you want to It's interesting. Asking this question, I've gotten so many different perspectives. It's a mixture of, at some point, we're all going to be gone.
Yeah.
That's just going to happen.
Yeah.
We leave behind whatever it is that we leave behind.
Yeah.
What do you want to have people remember you for? And this could be someone, your close circle.
Yeah.
What do you want the people that you've touched in this world? Jonny.
I'm touching people.
What would you like for them to remember?
It's a really good question. I think kindness, as cliche as that sounds, like the Dalai Lama at one point, one of the Dalai Lamas was asked, "What's your religion?" And he said, "My religion is kindness." And so I try and operate that way. So I would hope that people would remember me as someone who is kind, who is loving, who helped other people, not out of ego, not for benefit, but just to help. But I don't really think in terms of legacy. I know a lot of people do, and that's wonderful. And there's no offense to them whatsoever, but I don't consider the echo of myself when I'm gone. Like I'm hyper fixated on presence. And so I want to make an impact while I'm here. So people are going to think whatever they think when I'm not here anymore. But if there was some semblance of that, if I could, dream a little dream and do that type of thing, I would want people to remember me for someone who is kind and who lifted up others. And that's what I try and do with my work. That's what I try and do with my art. That's what I try and do as a man. That's what I try and do as a person. Is I want to lift people up, and there's not enough of that. So I want to be, as cliche as it sounds, I think I want to be a light in a very dimly lit world.
That's beautiful. I want to wrap it up with this. Is there a photo that you've taken? It doesn't have to be studio work. It could be with your phone that just stays with you. It could be when you were in Mexico. It could be when you were traveling. Something that you photographed that just is there. It's a core memory now.
Absolutely. So back in the day, this was probably about 8 or 9 years ago in Denver when I was doing that project, Forgotten Faces. There was one gent that I kept running into, and he called himself Pops. And he had this very like John Wayne, old timer, Western or, look. And he always wore hats, and I wore hats. And so we'd get together and we'd smoke a couple of cigarettes and we'd shoot the shit. And there's a portrait that I have of him where he's smiling because he was talking about his son. So he's talking about what his son's doing, and his son is, a maniac. He's like, my son's selling drugs, but he's making good money. And it was this whole thing, But he was really proud of his son. And I took this photo of him, and I ended up getting it printed, and I have that in my studio still, but I brought the print back to him. And I gave it to him. And it was probably about a week later, I was downtown and I was kind of asking about him because I knew the people who knew him, and he passed away, in an alleyway. So it was one of those things where it's like I got to share a moment with this guy. Beautiful man, brilliant man, complicated man, a man who had like lived and died 1,000 times. And so we had an opportunity to share that. And I will always remember his face in that photo. Like even if that print got destroyed, even if I lost those digitals, him smiling in that bit. And he's just this grizzled old fuck, like you wouldn't look twice at him if you walked by, like, oh, that guy. But like sitting and talking with him, and he was so intelligent, and he was, so learned and all of these things. And I feel like it's probably some of my favorite time spent with another person was with him. So having an opportunity to hear him talk about something that made him genuinely happy, and then having an opportunity to photograph him, to take a photo of him happy like that, and pull some of that out and archive that, to me was really, really, really significant and special.
That's a beautiful story. Jonny, how do people find you? I know a lot of people know you, but how do people find your work?
Well, I'm on Instagram mainly. I think I'm on like all the social platforms, Blue Sky and everything else. I don't even know. Like I make my accounts, I'm like, I'm going to get on there and get my accounts. No one takes Jonny Creative. You could sick branding, bro. But like I'm mainly on Instagram on social, and that's at Jonny Creative, no H Creative. The irony about that too, I have to tell people this, is like now Jonny Creative works for me because people actually don't know me as Jonny Edward. They know me as Jonny Creative. I started my IG back in the day when I was getting tattooed because people kept asking me questions about my tattoos, and I'm like, I don't want to answer these questions.
Yeah.
So like my journey is going to be on there. And I wanted Jonny Edward. I wanted my name, but there was some dude in London who literally had Jonny Edward, same spelling. There's no S, so it's like I have 2 first names, and 0 followers, 0 anything. And I was sending him sending him DMs. I'm like, bro, I'll pay you like 200 USD. I'm like, just give me my name. Like, I want my name. You're not using it. I tried that forever. And then I was like, I don't know what else to do. I'm just going to do Jonny Creative, and literally threw it out there. I was not a Facebook person. I was not an Instagram person. There was no social at all. So I got it to deal with that. And then eventually, obviously, I started doing photography, and that came from poetry and all these other things. And now if I'm on the street, people are like, yo, bro, you're Jonny Creative. And I'm like, man, that was like a subconscious, brilliant branding bit.
It worked.
It worked. So Jonny Creative, a very long-winded response to a very simple question. which is my way.
Imagine having the closed captioning on that.
It's circuitous.
On that whole thing.
Maybe like, tell him to stop talking, Johnny.
Or
Stop
Jonny
talking.
Edwards didn't get a bunch of messages. Release the name.
Yeah, what's happening? Yeah. Yeah, they're going to dox this guy. I don't want to do not dox that gentleman ever. And he's a nice British man. It seems like, anyway, you can also go to my website, JonnyEdward.com. But yeah, if any of you have any questions, you want to talk art, you want to talk life, I think one of the biggest things is like, I love this conversation.
Right.
That's why I come to conferences. Like, there's a lot to learn. I don't think that we're ever done learning, but it's really about connecting with people. And I love you, dude. And it's an honor to be on here with you. And
we finally did it.
This audio setup is dope. I feel like I sound a lot cooler than I am. And I have this dulcet tone to my voice, which is just all of the bourbon I've been drinking and cigarettes. And I'm like, no, it's very sophisticated. That's not bad life decisions. That's honeyed words.
Oh, man. Almost choked on my shit there. Me wash it there.
You and me both. Enable me.
Well, buddy, it's been great.
Yeah.
Glad we're able to finally meet up.
Same.
Where am I seeing you again? What other conference are you going to?
Are you going to Boca Fest by chance?
No, just Build and, what, Bokeh you said?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you're going to Boca?
Bokeh and Build.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'll be a Boca.
Good deal.
Yeah, so we'll do that. We'll do an Atlanta thing.
I'll be a one day there. You might meet my wife.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah?
She'll love you, man.
He did air quotes as he said wife, everyone. I don't know what that
air
meant.
quotes?
I'm joking.
I was like, wait.
I'm just trying to get you in hot water. Yeah, no, that'll be great. That's really rad. So this is dope, dude. I really appreciate it.
How do you like my setup?
It's incredible. This man does it right. Seriously, we're here in Union Station. We have the ambient noise in the back. We have some RGB lights. We have some nice stuff. He's controlling his shadows. He's working with color. Hopefully, I don't look as bad as I feel.
Man, it's like
it's warm. This is a warm space.
Yeah.
But it's nice. Then we have that enveloping warmth around us.
All right, now we get to do the fun part.
All right.
This will be after I'm going to stop recording. So now I get to photograph you because you're officially a guest of the show.
Done.
And I get to add it.
Don't judge me. I'm going in a book. You hear that? Johnny Creative is in a book.
He's in a book. It's now booked.
I've dear diary. Like, I'm finally somebody.
Yeah, this looks like a serial killer's thing of photos.
Yeah, this is going to be used as evidence at some point.
They'd be like, who has all been infected? I'm like, yeah.
Portrait finger.
A lot of fingerprints there.
Well,
all right, man.
Dirty.
Buddy. Thank you again,
bro.
And now go have fun.
It's such a pleasure.
I know. It's been great.